I hope all is well in whatever quarantine lockdown situation you are in right now. If you are here live, send me some love. Let me know that you're here. I'd love to know how your week has been so far. If you're here on the replay, you are just as important to me. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you've had a week of some sort, and just check in. Show me some love. Let me know you're here. Listen, I have a call coming up fairly soon, so I'm going to try to make this short. I know every time I say that, I end up not making it very short, but I'm going to try my best to do that because the message that I want to share today is actually a very simple message. And it's one of the core tenets that I believe in building your business. There's such an allure to bringing your business online, right? And this is coming to mind more and more because I'm doing these protect your practice / pivot your practice sessions with people. I have one coming up in a little while where I'm talking to coaches who are already making 3 to 5K a month, but have primarily been doing it offline or just are kind of stuck and want to grow it online or transition to online. And so this is becoming a lot more front of mind as I'm having these really amazing conversations with these amazing coaches. And so that's where this came from. So there's this allure that I think a lot of people think exists, that bringing your services, your coaching business online, that it has the ability to reach this mass market and this huge audience and these huge pools of people that you can work with. And that is 100% true. That's absolutely true. And there's a caveat to that a lot of people, I think, either miss or don't think about or just aren't willing to do. And that's what I really want to share with you. So the advice that comes from entrepreneurs, and for those of you who don't know my background, before I got into coaching and before I had this business, I had 2 other startups that were in the more traditional startup space, meaning like venture capital or angel investors, business plans, business incubators, all this stuff, not any of the stuff we do now, and very little of which I would teach any of you to do now because it doesn't really fit with this kind of business. But I was in those spaces. So I was in a business incubator with my first startup, and business incubators are to get mentorship and to get coaching and all these things from people who have done this and can help you with, creating your pitch decks and how you actually do your pitches to investors and how you structure term sheets and how you do all these things. So there's a lot in there about making sure that one word is very, very powerful in those spaces, in the entrepreneur spaces, in those spaces. One very, very powerful word. It starts with an S. It ends with an E. It has a cal in the middle, and that word is scale. Can somebody just type scale in the comments for me so that I know that you are here and you are paying attention and you're not driving while watching or trying to juggle chainsaws? Type the word scale in the comments. Same with you if you're on the replay, so I know that you're here and you are paying attention to what's going on here. This is a very important message. So scale is a word that is shoved down your throat when you are in environments like that, when you are in business incubators and all that stuff. And again, going back to this allure of bringing your business online, that's one of the things people look at. Oh, well, if I bring my business online because there's so many more people, I can scale, right? And yes, that is all very true and it's all very important. But here is a piece of wisdom that I really want to share with you that I hope that you get at a really deep level, and it's this. You actually want to focus on things that do not scale when you start your business, okay? And this is a piece of wisdom that also comes directly from a guy named Paul Graham. Now, Paul Graham is a guy who actually started one of the biggest incubators in the world called Y Combinator. And Y Combinator has had some of the biggest startups in the world come out of them. And the reason this advice is not typically talked about in entrepreneurship circles is because you're trying to build a business that outlives you. You're trying to build a business that runs without you. You're trying to build a business that reaches a huge market. There's all these big things that we're trying to do with scale. And the problem that happens when we're bringing our businesses online and we're focused on scale and we're focused on how can we reach the most number of people, how can we build the biggest audience, how can we have the largest pool of people to sell our services to, is that we're skipping steps, right? We're skipping steps. And this has made all the difference in the world to me. And if you look at even the bigger companies, like people like Stripe, you guys know Stripe, it's like PayPal, when they would be out in the world talking to people about Stripe or doing presentations and people would say, oh my God, that's amazing. They would sit down with them in that moment at their laptop and help them get signed up on Stripe to get their account. When Airbnb was first launching, Airbnb was going door to door in New York City and seeing if there was a way that they could help people who had apartments or condos or whatever to rent those out using Airbnb, and would sit there with them to help them get on the site, right? They would do these things that you look at this and from an investor standpoint, you go, well, how are you ever going to grow Airbnb if you have to go door to door? How are you ever going to grow Stripe if you have to sit down at a laptop with each person you want to sign up and do this thing? And the answer is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because scale should not be the thing that any of you are thinking about right now. Impact should be the thing that you're thinking about right now. Intimacy should be the thing you're thinking about right now, not scale. So the allure of online, mass market, bigger pools, bigger audiences, it's 100% true. But to get to that point, you have to start by doing things that don't scale. And for me, this is something that I'm still doing. It's something I'm such a proponent of, and it's something that we teach in our programs. And it's something that I see the students who are doing this in our programs are seeing the exponentially higher increase in the return they're getting from the work they're putting in. So what does it actually look like? For me, it's always about intimacy. It's always about what can I do one-to-one with somebody to really help them, right? One-to-one. Let me check in with you guys. Give me a 2 in the comments here if this is making sense and you're getting this fact, right? Because this is the thing. I'm telling you, anybody here who's trying to build your business online, if you think that there's some special Facebook ad or some special post or some special something you're going to do where you're going to have an influx of people come to you, that you're going to create some massively viral video and have hundreds of thousands of people follow you, is it a possibility? Sure, everything's a possibility. But I'm talking about what's probable, not what's possible, okay? In the very beginning, I did anything I could to have a one-to-one connection with people. And believe me, in the back of my mind, I was thinking online, mass market, lots of people, lots of followers. But I realized that wasn't the case. And I slowed down enough to realize, like, hey, listen, this is an intimacy-based business. In fact, all businesses are intimacy-based businesses at their core. But this is an intimacy-based business. How can I take something that people take for granted? This is a question I want you to ask yourself. Write this down. How can I take what most people take for granted and use it as a way to create intimacy, right? How can I use something that people typically take for granted and figure out a way to make it more intimate? Right? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. And it's the question I'm always asking myself, even to this day, even as of yesterday when I started something new that I started doing. And I'll tell you about that here in a second. What is a process? What is a system? What is an act? What is a technology? What is a something in my coaching business or in the business world in general that people take for granted that it just exists and they hope that it just works on their own, that I can actually dive deeper into and be more intimate with? So number one core example that I was just mentioning that we teach in the program and that has been so powerful is back when I started my business. This is now 6-7 years ago, and I started my email list. I started to build my email list. Very, very slow going, right? There again, no mass market. I didn't have something where I pressed a button and hundreds of people, thousands of people joined my mailing list. Didn't happen that way. I would have 1, 2, 3 on a really good week where it was like I'm ready to like pop champagne or like pop some bulletproof coffee. I wasn't drinking bulletproof coffee back then. I would get like 5 or 6 people on my list. Most people that have an email list, they think, how can I scale? And scale in an email list looks like automation. Somebody signs up for my list, they get an automated email saying, welcome, blah, 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 all good. And we do that. It's important to do that. That's part of indoctrination. That's part of bringing them into the tribe. It's a part of welcoming. It's a part of onboarding. It's a part of sharing what we call your HOF, right? There's a lot of reasons to do automation. Automation is great too. My whole goal is how can I mix automation and intimacy? Like that is really what I think my sweet spot is, and a lot of the work that I do with business owners and with coaches is helping them see the overlap of automation and intimacy. So yeah, all that stuff is great. Like automation and email is great. But what can I do to take that thing that most people take for granted, that somebody signs up for your list and they're just in the background and I'm just here doing my work and people are signing up for my list and they're getting my weekly newsletter and everybody's getting the same newsletter. So it's kind of a mass thing and there's no real intimacy. Hopefully if your content's good enough, there's some intimacy in the content, but overall it's a mass thing. It's one-to-many thing. So I slowed down and I said, hey, wait a second. What if, just for the hell of it, it's only one person, maybe 2 people, maybe 3 people. What if every time somebody signed up for my list, I took a little piece of paper and I wrote, hey, John, welcome to the family. And I held it up to my webcam and I took a picture and I emailed it back to the person who had just signed up for my list and said, hey, John, thanks so much for joining the list. I'm coming to you live and direct from my favorite Panera Bread in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is where I was doing this at the time. I remember the first time I did this, sitting in the exact booth actually not Raleigh, Cary, North Carolina, Cary, sitting there and doing this. Hey, John, yeah, thanks for joining the list. Super excited to have you here. And I'm coming to you live from this Panera in Cary, North Carolina, drinking my hazelnut coffee. And I wanted to send you a little token of my appreciation. Check the picture attached. Boom, it's a picture of me holding up a sign, having their name on it. I cannot tell you how many people responded to those emails saying, this can't be real. right? There's no way you're sitting here one by one and doing this for people. And I literally have a stack of papers at one point, because I would keep them afterwards, a stack of papers of all this stuff. And I could even show you, as a matter of fact, I think I will show you, just so you know that I'm not bullshitting you. I'll show you this in a second. So they would write back and say, this is incredible. One person I remember even wrote me back and said, hey, what software are you using to superimpose the message on the paper? They thought I was doing something automated. They thought I was doing something that was for scale, but it wasn't for scale. It was for intimacy, right? So that right there was huge. And I still know of one person off the top of my head who's in my world, in our world, loved him to death. He responded to that email and said, oh my God, this is amazing. And he has joined literally 3 or 4 of the programs that I've had in varying costs from, 3 figures to 4 figures over the past 6 years, including one just this past January. Like still after all these years, he's working with me in different capacities as I'm putting out different offers. If I had not done that, I can almost guarantee I would not have had that interaction with him going forward. I can almost guarantee it wouldn't have happened. Okay, and let me just show you real quick. I think this will actually be really fun. So I'm gonna bring up, this is not all of them, but I'm gonna give you a quick little thing here, just for fun. And let me turn my camera around here. I'm gonna show you on my screen, okay? So here is my screen, and here is the picture here, okay? And I want you to just see, I am just gonna do this, watch. And this is not even all of them, folks. Okay, yeah, now we're good. Hold on, is there more? Are there more? Some of these are, wait, okay, all right, we're done. All right, so I wanted to share that to show you this is literally something that I've done. And so Scott, that's the exact question. How do you scale that as you gain more and more subscribers? It doesn't fucking matter. If you're not there yet, don't worry about it, right? That's the first thing. And I love that you said that, bro. That's all love in my response to you. But everybody says, yeah, but how do you scale that? It doesn't matter. If I buy shoes as a 6-year-old kid and say, oh my God, well, but how can I wear these shoes when I'm 13? You don't worry about that. You'll buy new shoes when you're 13. But I will give you the answer to that, Scott. I'm kind of fucking with you. I will give you the answer to that. The way you scale intimacy, because we've done it in our company. That was my worry. As we grew the company and as we have, dozens and dozens of people that may be in a program at a time, how do I scale that level of care and love and support? You find people around you that want to live the way you want to live, that want to run a business the way you want to run a business, that want to support people the way you want to support people, and you empower them to take on the culture of intimacy that you've built and carry that out. And that's why I'm so blessed to have people like Tanya and Cindy and Amy and Brian and all these amazing people on my team that live from this place of intimacy, right? I did it completely by myself for the first 4 years. And then my thing then was, how do I get this to scale? Well, I do it with other people. And even saying that, Scott, I'm going to go back again now. Intimacy also means replying to everybody's comments and replying to everybody's email when they first come in. It's all these different things. But here, let me tell you that even to this day, I'm still finding ways to do this. What it means is that maybe you don't do it for every single person, but you still do it for as many people as you can. Right? You still do it for as many people as you can. The self-leader versus prisoner distinction here, the prisoner is all or nothing. The self-leader does what they can. Right? What small difference can I make right now? So for example, one of the things that I do, we have people, now we do have ads that run, and we have our How to Build a Competition-Proof Coaching Business, which a lot of you, the guide, the book, which a lot of you have probably seen and read. If you haven't, comment guide here in the comments and we'll make sure to get you a copy of it. But it's amazing. It's this 36-page, really deep dive guide on all the things that we teach on how to build a competition-proof business. Miriam says you did that with me, and I thought it was a program, and I did sign up for another reason, but it was too cool. Yeah, I love that. And that's why we've still been, again, years later, Miriam, we're still connected. We've done a lot of work together. And I really believe that intimacy is what has that happen. So we have the Facebook ad running now, and we have, it depends. We could have 100 new people per week join our mailing list and download our guide. It's very plausible that happens on a weekly basis. Depending on what my workload is, I will still send 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever it is. Sometimes I remember there was a few weeks ago where I sent 50 in 1 week. I sent 50 personalized videos to people who had just downloaded a lead magnet. How many people download lead magnets all the time? They download freebies, they download this checklist or this guide, do it all the time. And you never hear from the person again except for the automated responses. Now, of course, we have automation there too, and there's an email series that goes out after to support the work that's in the guide to make sure it really gets anchored in. But me taking 30 seconds and sending a personalized video to each one of these people to say, hey, Sally, Just saw that you downloaded my How to Build a Competition-Proof Business book. I hope that you love it. I hope you get a ton of value out of it. And if there's anything we can do to help, thank you so much and welcome to the family. 30 seconds, send the message. And I don't even care if they see it. I don't care if they watch it. I don't care if they open it. I don't care if they reply. I know that I'm putting intimacy into my business. The more you are creating intimacy and creating an audience by doing one by one things, the more kind of magically it starts to be a more mass market thing. Right? Because the more you're creating intimacy with people and they feel value from you, the more they're going to tell their friends about you, and they're going to bring their friends into the mix. They're going to bring their friends into your Facebook group. They're going to have your friends sign up for your mailing list. All of this stuff happens as a result of focusing on intimacy. Give me a 3 in the comments if you are going to practice doing what I'm saying here. That question that I said earlier, how can I take what most people take for granted and make it more intimate? What systems, what processes, what things are in place in my business now, whether it's on social media or it's newsletters or it's whatever it is, how can I take something that most people take for granted in business and make it more intimate? If you are going to do that, if you are committed to doing that, give me a 3 here. I would love to see that from you. Miriam says 3, Sherry says 3. If you're on the replay, jump in on this as well. I want you to do this for sure. It's such a powerful thing. So that is my transmission for all of you today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Sending all of you so much love. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you real soon. Peace.